Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to take a look at why you're investing in the wrong Pokemon cards. And when I say investing in the wrong Pokemon cards, I'm not talking purely in terms of just trying to buy cards and sell them later for more money or anything like that. I'm talking about building cool collections. I'm talking about focusing on cards when they're possible to get before they get absolutely ridiculous. Because we see a lot of people focusing on the big cards from any one given particular set. So take something like Umbreon, for instance, from Prismatic Evolutions. That's an extremely cool card. Everybody loves the Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions. However, that has always been a ridiculously expensive Pokemon card, and it hasn't really gone up. Like, if we have a look at this, basically since release, it started off as a $1,600 card, and it's fallen down to a $1,500 card. I'm not saying don't buy this Umbreon. If you want this Umbreon, buy this Umbreon. What I'm saying is, why are we rushing out to buy this Umbreon? Because it's always been ridiculously expensive, and all it's done is go slightly down in price over time. So why are we worried about it running out and buying it immediately? That's a card you could have basically got at any point, and the worst case scenario is you overpay by like a couple $100, and the best case scenario is you save a couple $100. It's hardly something you had to run out and get immediately. Or talk about the Pikachu from Surging Sparks. No one's arguing against this being an amazing card. We all know it's an amazing card. But, look at this since, this is shown since like a couple weeks after release. And it goes up to like $480 and then crashes down to like $360. Again, very cool card, but why are we rushing out to buy this? There's no real point. It's fine, it's a fun card, beautiful card, but this is not a card that we had to run out and buy or anything stupid like that. This is just a very cool card. We could keep going, but let's give you one more example. Let's go for Lily's Clefairy, the one that just came around in that lovely new Journey Together expansion. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about the card. The card is clearly spectacular. But if we have a look at this card and what's happened since release, people are trying to sell it for like $330 and it's crashed down to like a $200 card. A lot of people rush out to try and buy these fantastic cards, and they're great. But I've just shown you the biggest card from the past 3 sets. And there's one thing that they all have in common. They have all just crashed. Or at the very least, gone down a little bit. There was no need to rush out and buy any of those cards, the biggest cards from the past 3 sets. And this is what a lot of people are focusing on. So if you want cool Pokemon cards, and when I say about investing, what I'm really talking about is buying cards while you have the chance before they get ridiculous. Because, seriously, people who are just trying to buy Pokemon cards and speculate and make lots of money, they're not good for the hobby. We don't really need them. All they do is ruin it for everybody else. I'm talking about picking up these cards while you've got the opportunity before they get dumb. So what kind of card should we be looking at? Well, I'll give you an example. Pikachu with grey felt hat. One of the hands-down coolest promos I have ever seen in any card game. It's wonderful, it's spectacular, it's brilliant, I love it. Although it's not Pokemon related, but I got to show you just nice and quickly. We had a Borussia Dortmund One Piece card with Luffy in the Borussia Dortmund football kit, which is one of the weirdest promos I've ever seen, but also one of the coolest, so yeah, One Piece is doing cool stuff as well. But this Pikachu was literally just a Van Gogh painting in the style of a Van Gogh painting, but wait, it's actually Pikachu. Love this card, cannot say enough good things about it. And on release, this card was a pain to get hold of, frankly. It was annoying. Look what's happened to this card in the past year. It was flicking around $100. And yeah, $100 for a promo is a bit annoying. But again, it was one of those promos. It was initially given out at the Van Gogh Museum, and it was very hard to get hold of. And then they stopped giving it out at the Van Gogh Museum, literally because people just couldn't behave. And then it was made available on the Pokémon Center and in a few other ways. And over time, a bunch of them got out there. It was never a card that was just always out there and always available and super easy to find. That never happened. But it was around about $100 for a while. It is not anywhere near $100 now. It has gone up pretty significantly, I think is a polite way to put it. It's currently sitting at a $350 card. Who could have seen this coming? Pretty much anybody, honestly. Pretty much anybody could have seen this coming. Because this was a card that was a pain to get hold of. This was not an easy to get card or one that was just kind of floating out there or anything like that. This was, like I say, it was available at the Van Gogh Museum and then on the Pokémon Center, but only for a little while, and then it was re-released in some Dutch shops. But it was never a really easy card to get hold of. But there was a point where it was available enough to stick at a not completely ludicrous price. And again, I'm not saying that $100 is super cheap, but I'm saying it's not absolutely ridiculous. But now we're at $350, and I do think it's fair to say, yeah, now it is completely ridiculous. But maybe you want some more examples? Well, then maybe we have a little bit of a chat about Squirtle. Because Squirtle fits in here very, very nicely as well. A year ago, this Squirtle was $90. It did actually come down as low as like $75. It's now up at about $150, $160. This is a fairly ridiculous card. But again, this Squirtle, we could have seen this coming. Now, I don't know how many of you remember, but I remember this Squirtle was given out, and it was only at the Pokémon Center, and it was only when you bought the 151 Ultra Premium Collection. Now, here's the thing about this promo. Initially, I wouldn't blame anyone for missing out on this, because the 151 Ultra Premium Collection went up on sale on the Pokémon Center with the promo, and I did manage to get in nice and quickly, but then it sold out. It sold out very, very fast. But then it came back. And I think that's the important point here. This card did come back. And I told you about this. There were times on this channel where I told you, and on my Twitter, where this did actually... This was just available for a little while. The first time, yeah, it sold out ridiculously quickly. I know that. I was there. I was watching. But it did come back. So I'm just saying this was available for a while. This was one that people could get hold of. And it did go away after a while. And then it started jumping. So they're two cards that were available here and there. They were around. And then they went and got dumb. While we're in 151, why don't we talk about the Mew? This Mew, a year ago, this Mew was a $5 card. It's now a $30 card. And I know that that's not kind of horrendous. $30 isn't the end of the world. But it is 6 times what it was a year ago. That's a pretty sizable difference, to put it mildly. What's gone on? Well, this was actually one of the promos from the 151 Premium Collection. And nobody really cared. Because it was just in the Ultra Premium Collection. It was cool, but the Ultra Premium Collection was out there for a little while, and everyone was just like, yeah, nice. We'll worry about it later. Well, later's come. And I still don't think $30 for this promo is ridiculous, given how amazing this promo is. I think this promo, design-wise and everything else, is just absolutely stunning. But I do kind of think that there was so much time where this card was just so available. And for a long time, people kind of ignored it because, of course, we had the Mew from Paldea and Fates. And when you've got the Mew from Paldea and Fates, it's very easy to have a look and be like, well, we got this other Mew, it's better. Why do we care about that Mew? We've got a better Mew. Fair point. Except now this Mew is jumping up in price. And don't get me wrong, right? The one from Paldean Fates also jumping up in price quite significantly. But the point is, this one was very reasonable for a long time. It's not. We can make a similar kind of argument here, talking about the Greninja, which was in the Special Illustration Collection from Shrouded Fable. This is one of the coolest promos we've seen. Like, artistically and all of that, absolutely just one of the coolest promos we've seen. It is absolutely just phenomenal. And it was a card that people just went, oh, that's kind of cool, I'll pick that up when I get a chance. This was about an $8 promo on release. It is now a $35 promo. And it's, you're talking like 4 times as much. And again, it's still not ridiculous. Like, $35 isn't absurd. But it's more just a case of this was just so readily available at a non-ridiculous price. And if you really didn't want to go ahead and buy the box, and to be fair, you should have got the box. The box was amazing. But if you didn't want to get the box, there were still ways, to just go and pick this up for a pretty reasonable price. Those ways are gone, ladies and gentlemen. Those days are over. Now, there is one more category we need to talk about, but I do feel like we might be a little bit late on this one. And I'm warning you now at the outset, we might be a little bit late on this one. Because you see, what I'm talking about is, for instance, the Snorlax Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer Box promo. Because these Elite Trainer Box promos, the Pokemon Center exclusive ones, remember, when you buy the Elite Trainer Box, you get the promo. When you buy the Pokemon Center exclusive, you get a second stamped promo in addition. Well, let's look at what happened to the Snorlax over the past year. Sitting at like a $35 promo, it's now a $180 promo. The prices here have gone ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes. Yes, they have. This was available for a not ridiculous price. And again, no one really wants to pay $35 for an Elite Trainer Box promo, which comes in like a $60 Elite Trainer Box. They want the packs and the promo all for like the $60. But look what's happened to it. Have a look at the Charmander, sitting there at a $20 promo for a long time. It's now sitting there as a $120 promo. Fewer sales on that one, but we can still track it kind of nicely there. And this is the point that I'm making. These cards are getting ridiculous. The problem is, and although this has happened, and to a lesser extent with a lot of them, admittedly, the ones I just showed you were the big ones, but we all saw what it was like trying to pick up a Elite Trainer Box from Destined Rivals. Didn't go well. Getting these Elite Trainer Box promos are getting a lot more difficult. That Wobbuffet from Destined Rivals is going to be a pain to pick up, but it might be a pain to pick up from the off. So I'm leaving this category to the end because we might already be too late. But the message here essentially is, well, twofold. As I said at the start of the video, those cards like Surging Sparks Pikachu, Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon, Journey Together Lily's Clefairy, they all do the same thing. They come out ridiculously high and they drop in price over time. Whereas some of these promos, it's hard to know which ones and it's hard to know exactly when to pick them up, and I understand all of this. But they're the ones that generally do tend to absolutely just jump up in price. They're the ones to pick up when you have the opportunity. Okay, but I've told you all that now, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these cards. Which ones have you found have ended up being very, very nice to grab? Tell me in the comment section. Get us! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Evan Parker, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross and you've been watching PTCG Radio.